and welcome to my first video of the Google Cloud series. In this short video, I will try to explain to you how to simply create a virtual machine. It's really simple to do that in the Google Cloud. First of all, make sure you are in the correct project here. For example, here my project, the name is just simply my project. I do not have any other projects here. And then from here, you have to navigate to the virtual machine, or the compute engine is the name of the service at Google Cloud, which offers us to create virtual machines. We can get to this service from two ways. One of the ways is to search for here. So just search for compute engine and the service will show up here. Just by clicking on it, you get to the service. And the second way is to use the menu here to the left, this navigation menu. Just click on it and search for the compute engine. After you open the compute engine, on the left side you have a column with multiple menu options. So I will explain to you. Let me first minimize all of them so you know what's going on there. The first option is the virtual machines, where all the virtual machines settings are there, or virtual machines options. For example, the instances, the instance templates, the sole tenant nodes, the machine images, and so on. Under the storage, we have disks, the snapshots, and the images, for example. And then we have the instance groups, and then the VM manager for patching the operating system and creating operating system policies. And then options like the bare metal solution. And in the end, there is like the settings for the virtual machines. Good. As I said, in this, the idea of this first video is to shortly introduce you guys just to see how simple it is to make a virtual machine. So just navigate to virtual machines and then please select the VM instances. And the VM instances here, as you can see on the right side, you have the create new instance. Also, here below you have the button to create an instance, and here's with a short description what this compute engine does. So click on the create instance. Whenever you see a wildcard, that means that this field is mandatory. Yeah. But first of all, let's go to the left side here, to the left column. And here we have some kind of options. The first is to create a new virtual machine from scratch, and this is what we will do, what we will cover in this video. The other one is to do it from a template, the other option. The third option is to do it from a machine image, and the last option is from a marketplace. Today we'll cover just the instance from scratch, but in the other videos I will cover the other ones. Yeah. So here, where the name says, it says instance 1. We want to name our virtual machine. Yeah, that will be also the host name of this virtual machine. So I want to, for in this example, I will use my first VM. Yeah. So, and then we have the region and the zone. The region is in which region. So Google offers more regions worldwide. I'm residing in Europe, in Germany. So for me, the closest region is Frankfurt region. So I'll just pick Frankfurt here. And the zone here is selected by default, the West 3C, but I can change it to A, B, or C. I will just leave it to default. In another video, I will explain the regions, what the region means and what the zone means in Google Cloud. The next step is a machine configuration. And here, with machine configuration, Google means for what you will use this computer. So if you use this computer for a general purpose, We have different series here. If you use it for a compute optimized, for example, for workloads that need a lot of CPU, we have here some of them. For workloads which require a lot of memory, we have the memory optimized, and in the end we have for workloads which require a GPU, so a graphical processor. For our purpose, the general purpose is fine. And we have this E2 series by default selected, and as you can see in the description, is a low cost for day-to-day computing. So we go with that. When we scroll a bit down, we can pick then the machine type. Do we want so we have a preset of machine types, and by default is selected the medium. That means it has from 1 to 2 virtual CPUs, 1 shared core and 4 gigabytes of memory, and that's totally enough for our purpose here. But also we can pick a small one and also a micro one with 1 gigabytes of memory and 2 gigabytes of memory. Interesting is to know that we can customize the machine type, which not a lot of other clouds cloud companies are offering, and this means that we can choose our cores and we can choose our memory. But for our example, we just go with a preset because it's also cheaper, and just leave the default. We'll not go through the advanced configurations now. There are some really interesting settings there. We'll just cover that in another video. By availability policies, we have options, standard and spot. We leave it as standard. Spot is something else. I will explain to you in another video. If you want to see like a screenshot of the virtual machine, you have to enable display device. And then we have the options like confidential VM services. That means if we need a highly secure virtual machine, but we don't need it for the moment, so we do not enable this service. And this service comes also with some specific characteristics. It's a more advanced thing. Definitely will not use this computer as a container optimized OS, so we will not deploy any container. But the boot disk here, we can change it. As you can see, here's the name of it, the type, how many gigabytes in the size, what's the license type, and which operating system is there by default. We can change this, and we can pick here, for example, let's go with Ubuntu. I'm a fan of Ubuntu. So we just scroll down, just pick Ubuntu. We pick the version, and the last long-term support is 2204. We just pick that. Standard book, we leave it like this. 10 gigabytes is not enough, so let's do it like 50 gigabytes for the hard drive, and we go with select. For identity and API access, we leave it at default account, so compute engine default service account. And access scopes, we can leave this as default access. We have the option here for the firewall to allow HTTP and HTTPS traffic. We'll not do that at the time being. We'll cover that in another video. And we have this ops agent. This is an extra agent which gets installed on the operating system, and this will monitor our system and will collect logs and key metrics, and we can see those really nicely in the dashboard. So definitely activate this option. Yeah. We have some advanced options like networking, disk security, management, and sole tenancy. We'll not cover these in this video. On the third column to the right, you can see the monthly estimates. So if we go with this virtual machine, it will cost us about $33.91 per month. And then, for example, we can see here we have 2 CPUs and 4 gigabytes of memory and 50 gigabyte of SSD hard drive. Good. Then in the end, we just click create. I have an error here. Make sure all fields are correct to continue. Let's see what have I forgotten. Exactly. So we we have forgotten here to pick this recommended. So this is the availability policy. This is standard for, so, and we have the spot. When this is standard, you always want to pick the migrate VM instance recommended. What does this mean is your virtual machines resides in one of the Google servers, so in the hardware server. And when they do maintenance of this server, they probably turn it off, the server, they replace it with something else. The question is, what will happen to our virtual machine? The option is to migrate the VM instance, so before the maintenance, before Google does maintenance to it, migrate the virtual machine to another server, or we have the option to terminate it. We don't want to terminate our instance because if we have something productive running on it, we don't want to lose our machine. So definitely pick here migrate VM instance, which is the recommended way. And then click create again. And this takes a while to create the virtual machine. And soon we should see our virtual machine showing up in this VM instances menu here. So let's give it a couple of minutes. Oh, perfect. It was quite fast. So as you can see here, we have some columns. So let's go quick through it. So this is a status. When it is green, it means this instance is running. Under the name is the name of the instance. So my first VM. The zone is which zone resides this virtual machine. So we are in Europe West 3C. We don't have any recommendations for the moment, and it's not in use by any instance group. We have two IP addresses. One is the internal IP address, and the one is external. By default, if we use the default network like we use it here, this default VPC assigns internal and external private IP address to the computer. And in the end column here we have the SSH, and when we click on it, we can connect to this virtual machine just by clicking on it. So we have more options to connect with SSH. One of the ways is to use this SSH in browser option here. The other one is to install the Google CLI in your computer, and from there you can also connect. But for our purpose, connecting from the browser is really enough. So we have to authorize it. So just click authorize, and then it's establishing the connection to the SSH server, and here we are. So we have access to our server. So that was it, guys. Thank you very much for being with me, and I hope we'll see each other in another video.